Do you think the audience is resistant to telematic theater work?
That's not easy to answer because one would have to look at the offerings in theaters in different countries. In Germany, for example, you have a very strong theatrical tradition in many cities, big theaters that have annual seasons where they plan their productions of plays, sometimes very well-known plays, sometimes new plays. And I don't know whether you could market perhaps a telepresent program during the year, or whether you do it as a special occasion. I think if you present a festival of, for example, telematic performance, it would attract interest among people. And it is probably a process of spreading the word about new and experimental forms of theater that involve media, that are perhaps related to film, virtual reality, and cyberspace. And I think people are interested in innovation, and they may come to take a look. Whether it will then surprise them to find a naturalist or realist acting style in cyber theater, I don't know. Perhaps the writing for Telepresence or the scripting for these performances will have to also develop and keep perhaps surprising audiences, making them feel that they are part of a new generation of perhaps, I don't know what you would call it, telepresence plays or telepresence operas. Yeah, I think there are ways to market something that would then arouse interest. Mm-hmm. Also, I think in the United States, I know that opera houses have started to promote their productions that can be streamed. Yeah? So perhaps theaters could say, well, during a particular month, we're streaming all our plays, and we're beginning to gradually integrate live streams into our development of the outreach of performance. Yeah?
So after this full day of talks and people who shared theoretical stuff or from their practical experiences, what's the main idea you take back, or what thoughts you leave the place with?
The symposium today for me was convincing and fascinating because it dealt with the two areas of investigation, the socio-economic, cultural issue of migration, and then the telepresence collaboration between Romanian artists and artists in Spain and Portugal. So I was very interested in learning more about how the productions evolved in terms of the theatrical content, which was migration, but also in the artistic compositional form. And we heard a number of lectures today that dealt with virtual reality, with new media, with the digital, and with VR. And I think the possibilities of the new media have given us much to think about today, because the theater is a very old-fashioned medium. And I think we learned today that camera work or transmission work using the network, linking sites, creates also a challenge, I think, for the writing, for the making of the piece. And I, of course, was also very happy to learn about the issue of migration within Romania, for example. Your particular talk really amazed me, to look at how artists are understanding minority culture within the main culture, and also that means within a mainstream medium such as theater. Yeah? How are minorities or migrants or refugees or newly arrived workers represented in a mainstream medium? And can new techno media that are connected to social media also, the way people communicate through telephone and Facebook and Skype, how can that become a trigger to communicate about our existential concerns regarding our life, families, our place to live, and the future of Europe. This symposium today for me also looks at the shifts that we're seeing in Europe becoming larger and yet, struggling to keep its sense of hope, that this Europe can be a place where we can freely move.